10 Beautiful Things by Molly Beth Griffin. Illustrated by Maribel, Lechuga. Lily ran her finger across the Iowa map. An X marked Graham's house on an empty patch of land. Lily's new home. Graham's car tires hummed against the pavement. Lily felt the vibration in her hollow chest. "Let's try to find 10 beautiful things along the way," Graham said. Lily turned her eyes to the window. "There's nothing beautiful here," she said. She struggled to fold the map so it nestled into itself just right. "You'd be surprised," Graham said. And sure enough, at that very moment, the sun broke over the long horizon. Lily gasped. "There's number 1!" she cried. "Right you are, Lily," said Graham. Fence posts rushed past. Graham flipped on the radio, trying to fill the silence. Lily felt the complaints starting in her belly again, coming up her throat and nearly out her mouth. But then Graham shouted, "Number 2!" A wind farm had sprouted in the field beside the freeway. Spinning windmill blades gleamed in the morning sun. Lily concentrated on the game and found number 3 real fast. A red-winged blackbird perched on a swaying stalk of last year's corn. It was dark and bright all at once, its beak wide open in a song they couldn't hear. Later, Graham signaled and turned the car onto a smaller road. "2 more highways to go," she said. Lily popped a handful of crackers into her mouth, but food didn't fill up her hollow places. Graham cracked her window, and in rushed air and sound and cold. They crossed a bridge, and Graham chose number 4, the gurgly sound of a melting creek. Lily dozed off. She woke up when Graham tapped her knee and pointed out a falling apart barn. "That's not pretty," Lily said. "That can't count." "We're not looking for pretty. We want beautiful," Graham said. So it stood, halfway to 10. At a rest area, Lily bounced out of the car while Graham stretched her creaky body. Lily picked number 6. "The smell of mud," she said, inhaling. Graham shut her eyes and nodded slowly. "It's earthy and rich," she said. "I'd never really noticed." Lily breathed in the mud smell and focused on just that. It poured itself into some of the empty spaces in her. Back on the road again, the car seemed smaller. The humming in Lily had stopped, but her legs wanted to sprawl, and her stomach was getting queasy. "We're on a roll now," Graham said, and she was right about that. 7 and 8 were easy. A cloud shaped like a swan and a little brown calf that totted between the fences. Miles and miles later, they turned onto their last road, and the clouds began to draw close. The sky grew dark. The earth rumbled Suddenly, the air exploded in bright flashes. Cloud banks traded lightning back and forth, showing off. "Number 9, Lily whispered. There was no room for other words. The storm took up the whole world, and it filled Lily up too. She was here with Graham, and for a whole minute, that was all that mattered. On they drove. Almost there. Not far now. When they'd been almost there for a long time, Graham braked, eased the car down a crumbling driveway, and parked in front of the farmhouse. "Here we be," she said, through the drum of the rain. "Home. But we only made it to 9, Lily said, slumping in her seat. "No? 10. Easy." Graham came around with the umbrella, and Lily stepped out of the car. "We're 10, Graham said. Lily sank into her familiar hug. None of this was easy. Maybe it would never be easy, but she belonged with Graham now. She belonged here now. This place wasn't empty, and neither was she. I wonder, have you ever had to make a difficult transition?